Greetings, this is August 5th. There has been some increased activity on the White Rock Lake fire. An evacuation order went into effect last night, and as well the Flat Lake fire has had some increased activity on the northeast flank. A message from Joan, one of our viewers. If you are in the West Wold area, please do watch out for wildlife, specifically bears, that have been moving northwards, migrating out of fire zones. So if you're out driving around, do watch for wildlife. Keep your eyes on the shoulders of the road and around the next corner. We're turning now to the Canadian Wildland Fire Information System. This is the White Rock Lake fire showing season-to-date hotspots, and we'll take those off and just look at hotspots that have occurred over the last 12 and 6-hour updates. Monty Lake and Westwold are near the top of the screen. Vernon is towards the lower right-hand side, and Falkland is in the upper right-hand side. The concern is that strong afternoon gusts coming from the southwest will push the fire lines eastward towards Westwold. Looking at the infrared data, I'm not noticing any significant move past the season-to-date dots yet. Infrared, and these are M3 hotspots triangulating 3 satellite data sets, are after the fact. So you want to check with the ground report from BC Wildfire. The link is in the description below, and find out what is happening in this situation on a current level. We're zooming into the eastern flank. This has approached and appears to have gone past Adelphi Creek. This is approximately 17 kilometers southwest of Falkland. I am not seeing any movement eastward that is outside the perimeter that was established yesterday. However, as these wind gusts go through in the afternoon, we'll have to recheck this data and look for the next satellite updates. This is a screenshot from NASA's FIRM system. I am seeing some movement to the west of Westwold. Keep in mind these infrared dots may be off position and they may be obscured by smoke and cloud, so we may not be seeing all the data. The latest infrared hotspots do indicate about a 500-meter progress towards Westwold. I'm not seeing really much change in the distance between the eastern flank and Falkland. That remains about the same between the Canadian Wildland Fire Information System and the MODIS and VWIRS data on the NASA system. I am seeing expansion on the southeastern flank. It's come out of these controlled infrared season-to-date hotspots and moved quite a distance southeastward. The topographical information tells me it's moving up onto a hill and it's bordered by creeks to the north and south. Okanagan Lake is in the lower right-hand portion of the screen. Let's look at the wind forecast for the area. It's currently coming from the southwest at 9 kilometers an hour near the Westwold area, but then the wind slows down a little bit as it gets to the Adelphi Creek area, that's southwest of Falkland, and slows down even further 4 kilometers an hour from the south as we move eastward. The forecast is showing strong southwest winds this afternoon, above 40 kilometers an hour at peak gusts in the late afternoon, early evening, and then tomorrow, strong gusts in the early afternoon could exceed 50 kilometers an hour. There looks to be some clouds moving into the area, chance of precipitation on Saturday, and winds could vary a little bit in the evenings as temperatures cool down. So I definitely do understand the concern with the potential for strong wind gusts coming from the southwest. Access routes may become jeopardized. So you want to check with DRIVEBC. The link is in the description below. Make sure that you can exit the area appropriately. And I do understand that there are wildfire crews there and monitoring the situation. So we're waiting and seeing. We're moving northwest now. This is the Flat Lake fire zone, and we looked at some Sentinel imagery of the western flank of this fire as it expanded westward. It's south of Gustafson Lake. Now we're looking at NASA's FIRM system today. This is on the left-hand side of the screen, and we can see those infrared hotspots have moved further west of Gustafson, and now appear to be moving almost in a northwestern direction. There are some outlying hotspots even further. There has been a retreat of the fire north of Meadow Lake. However, on the northeast flank, there is increased activity, and there is some concern that these strong wind gusts may push the fire further eastward towards Highway 97, the Caribou Highway. And if we look at the satellite imagery from yesterday, we're looking at where the smoke trails are going. They appear to be flowing mostly north, and there is some push eastward. So there could be a lot of smoke heading towards the 100 Mile House area. But let's take a look at windy. There is a few variations in the wind forecast on the different weather models. Currently looking at about 5 kilometers coming from the southwest at that northeast fire zone. Looking ahead, wind gusts will be strong coming from the southwest, but then it's showing that around 5 p.m. there may be a wind shift and it could start coming from the northwest. There looks to be some clouds rolling in, which may cause a lot of variation in wind direction. It could be coming from the northwest, flowing overnight, and then increasingly coming from the west tomorrow afternoon, where the strongest gusts will be from the west. Looking at all the weather models stacked up, they do concur that winds could shift and come from the north towards the evening and then return to a westerly flow tomorrow. We're also seeing that, yes, there could be a lot of variation as cloud cover moves in. The Flat Lake fire area has had troublesome wind patterns. So depending on what your area is in relation to the fire zone, what the terrain is, what the vegetation is, and what your access routes are, you'll want to check with the ground reports with BC Wildfire and get an up-to-date situation report, because things could change rapidly. We're going back to the Sentinel system. This is on the EO browser, and I'll put a link in the description below. These images are from August 3rd. We're looking at the White Rock Lake fire zone south of Falkland and West Wold south of Monty Lake. And these are the only images I could get of the Sentinel-1. They are digitally enhanced to show different features of terrain and the conditions in the area, and they're not providing enough data to recognize where the burn area may be. I'll keep checking back. There's no up-to-date Sentinel-2 information for this fire zone. There is, however, Sentinel-2 data available for the Canim Lake area, so let's take a quick look at that. We are zooming into the area south of Deca Lake. This was that forested block that was on fire and caused evacuation orders in the South Deca area. And these images give us an opportunity to see where that burn occurred. If you zoom in close enough, you can almost make out fire guard routes. We see one here on the left-hand side of that fire zone where the burn area ends abruptly almost to a point. Moving a little further north, we're now at the southeast end of Canim Lake, and for those familiar with the area, you'll know the different names of the lakes and roadways. But these images will help to understand where the fire progressed, what forested blocks were affected. We've zoomed out. We're looking at the fire zone that occurred between Eagle Creek on the north side of Canim Lake and Lang Lake. This is the SWIR filter on the Sentinel2 system imagery from August 3rd. The system can be slow to update, and there is a tutorial in my July 31st video with Sentinel in the title. About the 5-minute, 50-second mark. It's a brief overview, and when I've indicated roads and labels, it can really slow the system down quite a bit. It may be a bit frustrating, but if you have patience and you can let the system upload, you can see some fairly interesting data on your specific area if those images are up to date. We've jumped over to Harrison Lake and we're looking at Long Island. Now, fire broke out at the north end of this island, so I just wanted to take a quick look with the August 3rd data on the Sentinel-2 and see if we can see where that fire was. And here, if we zoom in, we're almost at the northern tip of the island, a large forested block. There are heat indications on the western side of this block as well. There are some at the north and the northeast side of this forested block. However, these images are 48 hours old, so the situation has changed. Check with BC Wildfire if you're in the area and you need up-to-date ground reporting. So we are watching for afternoon wind gusts, potentially coming from the southwest. Could go up as high as 40 kilometers an hour in some areas. There may be stronger winds in higher elevations out on open ground, a little subdued if you're down in the valleys. There's also a potential for wind shifts in the evenings, maybe tomorrow. Wind will be specific to localized areas, but the general trend is coming from the southwest. Please be careful out there, especially if you're driving around. Choose your route carefully and watch out for our friends on four legs. They have to move about the province, as do we. Thank you very much for watching, and keep your nose to the breeze.